Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello, Suman. Lots of familiar faces and some new faces. Hope everyone. Hi, Lisa. Barbara. Hi. How's everyone's Saturday going?
Good.
You're in Ontario. You are locked into your house, so you can't go anywhere.
Except for a walk. I just went for a walk.
Yeah. So many.
Nice outside.
It's really the sun just came out.
Yeah.
Where are you all at?
I'm in Toronto.
Oh.
Yeah, Greater Toronto area. Where are you from, Michelle?
I'm in Santa Cruz, California, in the
Oh,
US.
nice. Must be such a different how's everything over there in terms of the kind of like the pandemic?
Well, our numbers are going down and I hear they're opening things up more and more, but I'm still not doing anything. I'm going for walks with a mask and mostly doing everything else on Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the total opposite here. We're at like the highest numbers we've ever seen. So yeah, even with the vaccines coming out. So it's nice that we get to do these creative things while we're indoors, right?
This is really wonderful for me also because I'm still pretty isolated because I'm not comfortable going out around people at this point still.
Definitely.
So have you been doing these classes, it sounds like, for a while, if you know some of the other people?
Yeah, it's been I started my online classes March 2020. So it's been a silver lining to just meet everybody online because I've been doing classes in person. So it's definitely been quite a year.
A year plus.
Yeah. It's crazy how much time has flown too, but
yeah. Well, I'm excited to have found you.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm excited to have you and everyone else here. Actually, while we wait for people to kind of trickle in, let me just.
Nikki, so I was supposed to be out tonight, and of course, plans got canceled. But I haven't had dinner or anything, so I'm kind of going to be watching while I make dinner. But can I get the recording after?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, thank you. I'll sort of I'll give myself a preview, but I appreciate the understanding. So bummed. I thought it was a ghost drive. It was like a mystery drive, and I thought, oh well, it's in the car. They'll probably let that go. And the guy canceled it. It was supposed to start at 6:15. He canceled it at like 3.
Oh, what is a ghost drive?
It's kind of like a sort of like a scavenger hunt mystery thing, but it's kind of car rally. You follow an app and you go from place to place. And there's one in Burlington. There's one in Milton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And so it seemed safe. I was going because my boyfriend has his kid for spring break. And we thought it's one of the few things we could do. And got canceled. So.
Wow. I've heard of geocaching where you kind of go hiking and you're on the app looking for hidden things too. Oh, Vicho's in Chile, and so I guess they have geocaching there too.
Yeah, I found out about it like 2 years ago. I've never done it, but I think it's really fun.
It would be cool. Really fun to do. Oh, it's so nice. It's so cool to hear things that we all kind of like have in common globally, right? As we connect virtually. It's such an amazing thing. Hello to the new faces. We have some young humans with us. I love it. So I'll let people trickle in. I've opened the waiting room so people can kind of just trickle in. But as we get started, it's going to be super simple today. I usually teach paint classes, so you need all these supplies. But what I love about getting into sketching is that you don't need much to get creative. So pencil, eraser, sketchbook, and I always say have some liquid. It can be any form that you'd like, but stay hydrated. And while we're kind of introducing ourselves, I love that we've started kind of talking and warming up. You can feel free to pop into the chat where you're tuning in from today And why do you sketch, or why were you interested in sketching? I know this is an intro class. We have some veterans in the room, so we're going to be starting from the foundation. So feel free to pop into the chat where you're joining from today. I love seeing and kind of hearing who is joining us, and I hope that the chat is open. Oh, here we go. Everybody.
Are you okay with people also talking, or would you rather that we mute ourselves and
Good
not
question. I actually love interaction, so I love it as long as it's not like in the middle. With the class today, our agenda is going to be a little bit of theory, and then we're gonna jump into like very just exercises. And so during the exercise is a great time to kind of share and join. I love when everyone talks. So welcome, Vicho from Neverland. I love it. Mostly Toronto. No problem. Mississauga. I've taken 2 of your painting classes before, which were fun, and I've always wanted to learn to draw. Amazing. From Toronto, and I have 2 different sketchbooks, one just for fun and one to practice techniques and skills. That is amazing. NW. Australia. Ooh, what time is it in Australia right now? So now, Southwestern Ontario. Amazing. And why you sketch? I think there's many reasons that people kind of engage with art, and so I always love to hear. A lot of people have heard lately is very just therapeutic in the time of chaos. And while you all kind of introduce yourselves to each other, I will introduce myself for anyone that is new here. My name is Jen Mickey, and so you can call me Miss Mickey, Mickey like Mickey Mouse. I am an artist teacher. I actually am a full-time teacher during the day. So I love running these classes, and I'm just very passionate about spreading creativity and getting people to see that everyone has an artist inside of them. So I've hosted many classes in person, and we jumped online when the pandemic started, and I've been so thankful for that, to meet all of you. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. These are some classes that we've done in the past. Starry Night. There's the Water Lilies. We're doing this class actually next Saturday, a bit earlier than this time right now, but feel free to join us. It's a free art paint class where we'll be learning a bit about Picasso. That will be a lot of fun. And this is our agenda for today. So why sketch? The importance of shading, pressure control. For anyone that joined the last class, a little bit of review from that. And today the main thing is recognizing shapes as we are getting into sketching, and then we'll go into some practice prompts. We have Las Vegas in the house. Amazing. All right. So kind of just to set the mood, I have 2 of these quotes here. Photography is an immediate reaction. Drawing is a meditation, by Henry Bresson. And then learning to draw is really a matter of learning to see correctly. And that means a good deal more than merely looking with the eye. So one thing I love about art that I've learned from many artists of the past is that it's really about the way you're seeing things. And so when we look at recognizing shapes today, when we are sketching, this is a big part of it. And it's also the beauty of sketching, where you can create your own perception of things, whether it's real or an impression of it. And to kind of start us off, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. So just be patient with yourself if you're sketching for the first time, or if you haven't sketched in a while. Even for myself, having painted and just kind of getting into sketching the past couple of years, it can be very frustrating. But the fact that you're here, pat yourself on the back and just be patient with yourself. It takes practice. Okay, so kind of to warm us up, I'm going to share screen, and I will be having my document camera. So I don't know how the window looks for most people, but you should be able to kind of have me on one end and the screen on the other side. Okay, can everyone see my paper okay?
Yours is very tiny. Is it any way you can do half and half?
Yeah, so to do half and half, you have to minimize your window and then you should be able to kind of
Okay.
drag. Yeah, you have
Okay.
take it off of full screen and then you'll have my shared slides on one end and then the window.
Okay.
It's a little bit of tech
You're
because
a little out of
okay.
focus.
Yes.
because if I share the camera, then you won't be able to see some of the reference photos. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
hopefully everyone has an idea of that. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Oh, I love seeing all the new faces and I love seeing kids too. I teach grade 4 and they're all boys. So I like seeing girls.
They're
girl
all
students.
boys?
All boys. It's a lot of energy.
Wow.
Okay. So as we get into pressure control and shadowing, kind of just to give us an example, you see the apple on the left side here. There's a bit of shading, some highlights there, and you can see where the shadows are. But then when you look at the apple on the right side, the more control and the more practice you have with shading, you want to be able to eventually shade so that it's so gradual and smooth that there is so much detail and you can see how real it looks compared to the first apple, right? Even with this example here, there's some shading on the left. It's a beautiful portrait. But when you look at the one on the right side, when you have more contrast with the pressure and the control, it really pops when it comes to your sketch a lot more, right? We're going to do a little bit of practice here. So one way I love to practice, and I think this is something you can do over and over again, would have been helpful if I had pencil, but create a little rectangular box for yourself. And we're gonna just practice sketching. Okay.
What kind of pencil should we use?
I'm just using a regular HB pencil that I have right here. When you to give some context, I'm with all of my classes, even with the paint classes, I try to keep the supplies as kind of simple so as possible. When you get more into sketching, there's like charcoal and different granite types of pencils, and you'll kind of feel the difference with the quality. But for today, any pencil will work as long as it's not like a lead pencil, right? So I'm just gonna make a little box for myself. There we go. And the challenge here, what you want to do is to actually gradually, we're practicing our pressure control. So as you can see, you're going to start with very light pressure. And this is a lot of self-awareness here too. So very lightly. And the goal is that by the end of the box, you can put as much pressure as you can so that it's a very dark. Right, so I'm slowly adding more pressure as I go along. It's kind of feels kind of funny even on your wrist because you're really aware of the control that you have on the pencil. And as you get to the end, again, you can feel a big difference from the beginning, right? You can do this a couple of times. You can do it with just the whole spectrum there, or you can even divide that box up into, let's say, 5 sections. And that kind of gives you a better idea of when to add a little bit more pressure, right? Hopefully you can all see.
Yep.
Okay. So again, we're gonna practice an actual still life sketch. So we want to kind of practice this so that we can apply it after. When I get to the line, once again, it's a benchmark. Add a little bit more pressure.
Are you using the tip of your pencil or the side?
I am using the side of the pencil.
Okay.
Yeah. The more times you do this, you'll find that it's more gradual each time. So even with the next photo here, you want to go from that really abrupt transition to a very gradual transition, which is what this kind of bar helps us with. Right. And kind of just take mental notes of, okay, if I'm sketching something that's not too light, I'm gonna use less pressure. Let's just kind of warm up, right? Okay. And as you kind of finish that off, I'm gonna put us some Chopin. Okay. So the first kind of warm-up sketch we usually do like a sphere or an apple. We have a fruit after this, but taking a look at this cube, you can see that there's different lighting on each side. So from when you're sketching something, you also ask yourself, okay, where is the light coming from? Wherever the light is coming from, looks like it's coming from the left side here, right? So the light is hitting this side here, and then the shadow is being casted. And so let's practice by kind of sketching this cube. I'm going to start with the square, just like the quote we heard earlier. Sketching, whether it's sketching or painting, it's a lot about the way you're seeing things, right? So I'm starting with this simple cube, just as a warm-up. And the shadow that's being casted is kind of almost like you can see a bit of a triangle here, the corner. It's almost like wrinkled depending on what the cube is sitting on. It's like a piece of cloth. With these prompts, you'll find that it's a bit quicker. So it doesn't have to be perfect right now. We're just getting warmed up, kind of getting used to holding that pencil, right? So once you have that outline, we can then kind of shade it in the shadows. So with this main face here, we want it to be one consistent pressure throughout the whole box. Using the side of the pencil, your goal is to have this whole face have that same amount of pressure. Sorry. Just concentrate. I think it was Vicho that mentioned in our last sketch class that kind of just take your sketchbook everywhere with you. The more practice, kind of just sketch everything around you. So if you look close at this cube, I tried my best. There's a bit of inconsistency around here. And kind of just smudge it in, right? But the goal was to have this whole face the same amount of pressure. And now with this shadow, we see that it's a bit darker, right? But even around this bottom piece here underneath the edge, it gradually gets darker. It's very, very subtle, but it is definitely darker than that face of the cube. So we're going to add a little bit more pressure. A little bit more pressure. And then as I'm coming out, and as you shade things in, it's kind of like when your teacher told you when you're younger, staying within the lines, but also keeping it consistent in terms of the direction you're sketching in, because every stroke, every pencil mark will show. So I'm kind of going up and down.
I find it difficult to do the edges well because you don't have as much control when you're doing it on the side.
Are you talking about the edge of the pencil, Michelle?
No, I'm sorry, like the edge of the shape.
Yeah. And especially as you're moving, it's almost like right now, even as I'm sketching, I can see where I've stopped and continued. So it's really in that pressure control. Even for myself, the reason why, honestly, I run a lot of these classes is to have that extra practice myself, because I don't think that as an artist you ever reach that. Well, for me at least, I think I'll always be practicing and trying to better myself. But even for me, I think I can always use more practice. Right. So the goal here is for us to just see the difference between that face and the darker shadow, which we added a bit more pressure. On top, we see a bit of texture, but I'm just going to kind of shade it in a lighter pressure than that face that we had earlier. And see, with this exercise, I have a picture of a cube on the screen, but you can always practice this by just picking an object that you have in the room. Okay, I'm going to give about 30 seconds. This was just a nice little warm up because we're going to practice with some fruit, some digital fruit.
Doesn't sound very tasty.
Yeah, there's actually many classes that I have a different style of teaching, but there are many classes that are, I know, even free, that have still life prompts, or even like a live model, and it's a lot of fun to sketch something live with a group, kind of like what we're doing here, but I don't actually have real fruit. It is a photo. Okay. I just find with the lighting and the camera, that's something that is it's a lot of work, and there are many amazing classes out there, which I will share as well. And if anyone has, I know there's many people in this class here that have amazing resources. So if you ever email them to me, I will blast it out and kind of share. The art community, especially during this time, is amazing. Okay. So we've done a bit of pressure control practice, and we get to see that difference with the cube so far. We'll do another quick practice. We'll do about 5 minutes of this, but again, looking at this, I want you to put into the chat, where do you think the light is coming from? Do you think the light is coming from the left side or the right side? And put an L or an R in the chat. Sometimes it can be tricky, but when you kind of recognize where the light is coming from, yeah, perfect. We are great at recognizing where the light is coming from, because when it's almost like with this banana, you see that the tip of the banana here is bright, so you would kind of assume like, oh, maybe the light is coming from this top corner here, and it's kind of looking down. But like everyone says, well, most people, it is coming from the right side, and you see that shadow being casted because of the apple covering it up. So it's casting that shadow. So the light is coming from the right side. Okay, so recognizing that.
Tricky.
Tricky. We're going to sketch it's a lemon or lime, apple, and banana. Very quick. Again,
all of those.
Yes, the goal is not to be perfect.
Okay.
Right? The goal is just to kind of get warmed up because we can't always be perfect. I know we want to make that banana exact, but it's just a very quick sketch. A lot of live sketch classes too, they'll do like 2-minute prompts. I remember there was like a 30-second prompt and I was freaking out. I'm like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not ready to move on. But again, it's kind of us getting used to looking at it and
You always want perfection, right?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I'm just kind of lightly sketching it. And I think when you are working on, I think with like a painting, it's a bit different because you want to spend that time for that finished product. But with sketching, I think the more you practice with very short exercises is actually when you're really warming up your eye and looking at, okay, the proportions of things. How far is the stem from the other banana? That's what I'm looking at right now. I think a lot about art is also us practicing to be imperfect and being okay with, or kind of like laughing at our self-portraits like we've been doing in our classes, right? This part of the banana, I don't know what it's called up here, where it holds it all together. It's tricky. I think if I would have been able to start again, I actually would have started with the fruits in the front and then filled in the background. I'm so used to painting where we start with our background first, but let's just start with a simple apple. And we have a very perfect little lime. I always remind my students to make sure that they're breathing because we forget to breathe.
Oh, yeah.
I know we have some friends. I had a couple emails from people who need the live captioning. So we are live on YouTube right now as well for the Hard of Hearing. So I hope that they're also enjoying the class right now.
Nice.
I was so worried about the tech and everything that I forgot to prepare my supplies, my pencil. Right.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay. I find that when you are sketching as well, you can probably sketch something. You usually should sketch something more than once because you find that the second time you always notice things a bit differently. Okay, so now that I have the kind of basic shapes, I'm just going to play around with the shadows now. So this lime here is very obvious with the dark shadow here, and it gradually gets lighter, and then you have a bit of that highlight, the shine. So super dark pressure around 8 o'clock right here. I'm going to move this over here. There we go. There we go. Very dark, and then gradually get lighter. Again, we're not aiming for perfection, but pay attention to especially the lime because the shading is not as abrupt. You want it to be a lot more gradual in terms of the transition here, and the apple because they are round shapes, whereas the banana, it's just very, it's almost like you're sketching a whole nother shape in there with those shadows because they're lines. I'm going to continue with this a little bit. A bit of like a stem. The way I see it, it's almost like you're breaking up that one lime. If I were to be painting, I would be like, oh, there's different shades of green in there, almost like a paint by numbers point of view. So you're doing that same thing with sketching, but you're breaking it up in terms of the darker tones and the lighter tones because you're only working with black and white, right? So it's a bit trickier. And I'd love, we're going to share at the end kind of our products because a big part of art is also being able to share it and be vulnerable and kind of giving it these tiny little dots here for the grooves in the lime. Right. Move on to the apple. I'm keeping it very basic. I'm not going to go into the kind of texture of the apple. We're focusing on just the shadowing and the pressure control practice right now. Okay.
Do you teach charcoal also? You were talking about.
Not yet. No, I don't. That's something I'm still playing around with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I find even with I'm used to teaching acrylic paints, but right now I'm playing around with watercolor and it's like there's a lot of common things between them, but it's very different with different mediums, and charcoal is one of those things.
Yeah, I've never tried charcoal, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, acrylic and watercolor are like two different planets.
So different. As I am sketching and kind of looking at these things, some questions I ask myself or kind of note is that, okay, this shadow is starting in the middle of kind of marking off to help you with your proportions. So a lot of it is noticing where things end and start to get the size, because usually sizing, especially when you get into sketching figures, is kind of noticing the space between things. So the next sketch class, I'm going to focus on lines. So we're going to slowly delve into the different elements of art. Line being one of them, shape, space is another one, texture, right? So when you kind of combine all of these things together, it you get all the kind of foundations when it comes to the elements.
Cool.
Okay.
It's so wonderful that you're doing this and making this available to people when we really need something good to focus
Yeah,
on.
that's exactly what I wanted. And like, even I find what's tough and with doing free classes, I find is that like for today's class there was about like 65 people that registered, and people aren't as committed to show up, but I still want to be able to kind of, like you said, during this time especially, it's just something that people can look forward to.
Yes,
We need
definitely.
things to take our mind off of the bombarding of information and all this sad news, really.
And just being, a lot alone. And so we get to
Yeah,
be together.
yeah, that's a huge thing. I think when it comes to art, I find that for me personally, it's not about like getting myself to start. It's just like having people to do it with. That makes a big
Yes.
difference.
Yes, definitely. And we can hang out together and learn something and
Yep.
do some art.
And not have to wear masks with our
Yeah.
virtual classes with my students, my kids. We were in person and I can never see their face, but I was like, I can all see all of your smiles and eye and your mouth and everything, and it makes such a difference when you get to see everyone's full face. Things that we
Yeah,
take for granted when we had it,
I know, huh?
right?
Isn't that a weird thing to think about, that that's something to really appreciate now, is to get to see each other's faces?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think that's another silver lining of this whole pandemic. It's given a lot of time for myself and I think my loved ones to reflect a lot on things we took for granted, but just to be thankful, just to be healthy and to wake up, have another day, let alone have art with us.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely am not the greatest example of this, but I find that when we talked about patience, it was another reminder for myself. But when I'm sketching, I find that when I'm reaching towards the end of I tend to rush. Definitely. I'm just like, okay, I think it looks about right, but you can never, we can keep going at this sketch for the whole class if we wanted to. I'll just say that.
Right.
But we want to cover a bit more. So I'm gonna definitely be sending out the recording. We can kind of keep going.
Oh,
I love the chat. It's been a great sanity saver. Love it being alone together. Antidote to four walls of survival. Art is liquid joy. Absolutely. And I don't know if it's just the art scene, but I find that with artists, it's a really good energy all the time, which I love for surrounding myself. Okay, we're gonna keep moving on. Kind of had a little practice now with our shading and our pressure control. But let me pause this, and we are gonna jump into recognizing shapes. So I've been doing this a lot more because I am not strong at all when it comes to figures, but what I can appreciate about recognizing shapes is that we get to kind of create that first building block for us. And when you look at these figures, for example, you want to end up with something like this, the full figure of the woman. But if we're to break it down, it's literally very simple shapes, circles, and then we have the lines there, kind of mimicking the skeleton, right? And so we're going to watch a short video, kind of just to give us a bit of a intro on shapes and and what it does for art. Okay, it's going to give us a bit of perspective. We're going straight down to the foundations, and I should be able to hear. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Turn this on.
Fruit has played a prominent role in the history of art. It's long been a favorite subject for artists, making still life paintings and drawings. Looking at still lifes of fruit is a useful way of studying how artists approach making shapes. Shape is one of the 7 elements of art, along with line, form, texture, value, space, and color. When the beginning of a line connects with its own end or intersects with another, a shape is formed. In visual art, shapes are flat and are defined by their length and width. In other words, they're two-dimensional. There is an infinite number of shapes, but all fall into one of 2 categories: geometric or organic. Geometric shapes are commonly recognized such as squares, hexagons, rectangles, and circles. Organic shapes are free-form and often one of a kind. Artists learn how to see the world around them as basic shapes. Simplifying objects into geometric and organic shapes makes drawing them easier. Shapes inherit the qualities of the lines that were used to construct them. For instance, this painting by Cezanne has heavy, solid outlines that define the shapes, whereas the fruit in this ink drawing by Manola Rocchi is made up of very soft, fuzzy lines. Each approach to making lines produces different feelings and associations in the viewers. Some artists make oranges that are perfectly round, while others draw or paint every little bump and detail of the skin. The next time you're looking at a painting or drawing, try to notice how the artist is using shape in their work. If you were making a drawing or painting, how would you interpret the objects in front of you? Would you draw them as faithfully as possible? Or would you choose to represent them more abstractly? Practice for yourself by setting up a bowl of fruit and drawing what you see.
So I know it started out a bit elementary, and I am an elementary school teacher, but there was a lot of gold there that she spoke on, especially when it came to perspective. So I think even when it comes to sketching, I always told myself that it has to look exactly like what I'm seeing, but as we saw, it's all about what you interpret as well. So I have a picture here on the screen, and it's a beautiful landscape. And for me personally, as a teacher, when I look at this, if I were to break it up to teach, it's valuable for you to kind of make note of how you would start to sketch this and what shapes you see. So let me kind of annotate here. We're going to kind of practice this with another picture later on, but this is a bit heavier, and I'm kind of taking a look at time, but I kind of notice shapes, right? Maybe a little trapezoid underneath here. But by using these simple shapes and seeing the landscape differently, that's where you kind of start with sketching. So kind of just noticing and recognizing these shapes first, so that it kind of it makes it more simple for you to see, and then you would build on with the details of the lines and the shading, right? So it's almost a different way of seeing the world around you. And when you notice art as well, you can start to see those shapes because it's the most basic form that we can kind of grasp to build on a very basic foundation. So I chose this cute picture here because I noticed very, very simple shapes. even within this little puppy, I thought it would bring us a bit of joy. But the head, we have like the almond shaped eyes, and the cup here, right, has the kind of oval that it's sitting in. But I will put this up here. I'm actually going to let you feel free. We're going to be doing some prompts. Our last practice prompt will be you picking an item or two in your room. But right now we're going to sketch this one together. So let me kind of share my camera again. Okay. And I challenge us to notice the shapes again. So I'm going to start with, now that I look at it, it won't be too easy, and I might just butcher this very cute puppy's face, but we want to start with the basic shape of the head. I'm going to start with a circle, and it's more towards the right side. And feel free. So we're noticing, we're practicing how to look at things around us before we can kind of just jump in, right? So it's us being able to look at things differently and kind of analyzing. So I have the head and a little ear sticking out to the left side here. Almost like half an oval. And it doesn't quite pass. It's about a third, if we're to measure, third of the length of the face on the left side. And then that ear on the right side, kind of just jumping out a little bit right here. Again, our goal is for it, not for it to be perfect, but you're recognizing the different shapes, very simple shapes, just for us to break down. Okay? We're going to take it one step at a time. I'll make it bigger. There we go. And now I'm actually going to sketch another circle for the mouth part of the puppy here. So a smaller circle right about here. Because you can always erase those lines in between, right? Once you have that, we can then sketch in the nose, which it looks like a triangle, right? An upside down triangle. I have two little circles for the nostrils in there. And what I realized when it comes to sketching and painting is that the reason why a lot of the time, I guess when I paint and draw, I look at it, I'm like, this is so bad. Like this looks nothing like what I'm trying to paint. And what I realized most of the time is actually because you're just not done yet. I realized that if you give it another hour, half hour of you continuing to kind of work at it, it changes it completely. So if you're looking at anything in the beginning, remind yourself that I'm just not done yet. There's just a lot more to go. A lot of erasing might be part of that too. So I have my triangle in here, and then you have the line coming down, a little bit of a line, and it splits open here. Very subtle diagonal lines, and the tongue underneath. Okay, and I'm just gonna do the eyes. I'm noticing how far it is from the nose. And it is, start with circles and then add the sides. The other eye is actually very close to the ear, literally right on the side, because it is more of a side profile of this dog. Wondering how many people here are cat people versus dog people. I'm actually a cat person.
Cat.
Me too.
Cat. Should have picked a cat picture, darn.
Oh, Nicole says cats.
Then Nicole Wilk and dogs. That's Nicole. Totally. It's a funny story behind it. Again, this is actually a very advanced picture, but our goal is to literally just notice the different shapes, right? So we will not finish and it will not, I'm gonna tell you now, it will not look like the picture, but we're just focusing on recognizing shapes.
I'm learning if we don't try, we never will learn. So
Stop talking, lady.
Oh, who was that? I actually let me keep going.
wow,
Okay.
yours is pretty darn good.
Little things like, because we started with the circle, but there's things missing, like if I were to add a little bit of curves onto that circle, right? So we always start with those basic shapes, but we add in those finer details to create a closer interpretation of the real thing, if that's what you're going for, at least. With this dog, like, you would have to, because it's black and brown, you would have to literally color everything around it that's black. But I'm just going to be focusing on the outline. Ashley says dogs. Yay. I'm going to stop with the head here and then actually go into the cup.
My kitty is sitting here on my lap while I draw, and she approves of all the cat people.
That's amazing. Get my eraser. So I noticed that the rim of the cup actually starts around the eye and it ends right underneath his chin here. So after that brim, now that I have the cup, I can then fill in that space with his little paws. And with the paws, oh, bless you. With the paws, I actually see rectangles, if you notice them there, right beside his face. I'm going to draw 4 rectangular shapes right beside each other. Just notice the width, the difference, right? And if you ever looked at figure drawings, fingers are actually a bunch of rectangles. So it's literally the breakdown. And then we have the paws on the left side there, which look more like ovals.
His paws are totally adorable.
Yeah, so cute. Again, we're just practicing our ability to kind of recognize those shapes and see them. And I think the fun thing about when you get into painting and drawing is that when you walk around, whether we were taking a walk in the park, you'll start to notice these things too. If you practice those little things when you don't have a pencil in your hand, it almost makes it easier when you do, because it's a way of seeing things. The start of those little fingernails coming out. So when you're ready to kind of add on those details is when you can kind of erase those foundation lines that you started with the basic shapes and kind of start to morph it into the real. I love his little tongue, I know. It's a very distinct shape, actually. Almost like the bottom of a rounded cube. I'd love for some of us to share after this too, if you're comfortable with it. I know we actually always have speech of sharing. Oops. Share screen, sorry. It's always fun to see everyone's interpretation of it. But something with this, it's a bit different than I guess our paint classes because it's we're not using color, so there's not much of a twist you can put onto your own. I hope that as you're sketching this cute little mug puppy, you're feeling a bit more confident as we go along too, because I find that it's either very confident or very hopeless, depending on where you're at.
Mine is pretty awful.
As long as you can laugh about it.
Oh, Leslie's is too.
This is definitely a difficult one. I find when I'm picking these prompts, I think I'm a bit more optimistic than I should be a lot of the times. I hear that from my friends too. I'm a very optimistic person.
Well, optimism's a good thing.
Yeah. I just hope that it didn't push everyone too much out of their comfort zone, or if I picked something too tough that discourages you, because that's the last thing I would want.
Well, no, we just have to remember that again, it's like the more you try drawing things, the more you'll get there eventually.
Exactly.
I always expect to magically just know how to do stuff, like you pick it up. Somebody's teaching that's done it forever, and you pick it up once and you expect to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. So it's very powerful how much technology has changed just the ability to learn things now, though, just with YouTube and just learning an instrument, a language. Everything has become so much more accessible that
Especially with the COVID, I find there's so much on
Yeah.
on YouTube. There's so
Yeah.
much.
it's almost overwhelming too,
It
because
is.
there's so much to learn, and it's like, when will I?
You don't have
It's
the.
over-
That's what people laugh at me when I say, "Oh, I'm so busy."
Yeah.
They say, "What are you busy with?"
Nikki's classes.
Yeah, I know. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, the best positive thing about COVID is just getting to hang out with people from other countries that I would never have gotten to
Never
hang out with
Yeah.
before.
So true. It's amazing. It's really, really, I think it's magical. It's amazing. It
Yeah.
takes because even with traveling, that's one thing I miss. But
Yeah.
with traveling, it was always connecting with people that I loved most. And so this kind of just brought it all together, that we can still do this without a plane ticket.
Yes.
Our puppy's coming along.
Yes.
Picasso dog or weird Modigliano pup face.
Fish
For
face.
anyone who doesn't know, I think we brought up Modigliano. Let me kind of just search it up, because that's a very funny reference. I think will make people feel better. Demi. So Modigliano is an artist. I actually only learned about him through Jenny, but he would. Let me try to share here. The interpretation is kind of like stretch out, very long, elongated faces of people, and so that reference is probably because this pup looks very distorted. I'm guessing, Demi. So it's okay.
I know. I always try to make my drawings like picture perfect, like it's like a photograph.
Yeah.
I don't like use my imagination too much. I guess that's something I have to work on.
Whereas I guess with other people, like that would be a weakness of theirs, like being able to really take the time to make something look realistic. I'm going to try to just kind of shade in the black. There's something off about him, but
Me too. This is
That's okay.
His face is like it's not.
Yeah. Hair is like something so I don't know how people sketch down to the realistic fine hairs of animals. It's really amazing. It takes a lot of time too. Again, this is us doing like a 10-minute sketch, right? So
Yeah.
that was it. There we go. Vicho, let me share yours. Vicho is our digital artist, and
He's amazing.
so good.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're
Share.
the one from Chile, huh?
Let's
There you
see.
go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Holy
Oh
moly.
my goodness. See, that looks good.
Vicho, do you have any
Wow.
kind of tips when it comes to like the foundation of the proportions of his, I don't know if it's him, his face there, what you did there with I see you have like an oval and then a circle.
Yeah, I start with very basic shapes.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the head. Wait,
It's so cool to see it in
the head is
action.
just a circle. Then sometimes I do a cross section to mark where the eyes would be, or what
Mm.
the face is looking at. Then I mark the snout, just like a circle, then the eyes. I start positioning the features with very simple shapes
Mm-hmm.
and very light lines.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
The cross section of the face, those lines help with the placement of
Mm.
the eyes and the snout there.
Yeah.
And
Then
it's
I
this
start-
literally same basic for like all faces, right?
Yeah.
I love it. So now Vicho is going to be teaching the rest of the class. Okay.
No.
Vicho is an animator, so he draws a lot of people as well, which is something I don't do, and so I find I can learn a lot from you, Vicho. It's awesome, so cool.
Wow.
So fast. Oh,
That's
God.
pretty cool.
Very
Love
good.
it. Let's go back to gallery view. Okay. Did anyone else want to share theirs? I guess you don't want to follow up to that. But
Not after video, but
Yeah. Oh wow, Lisa. That's
It's mine.
great shading. Wow. That's amazing.
oh, that's really nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lisa looks great.
That's really good.
Trying to get it in
Wow.
the middle there.
Let's see there, Suman. Let me
Okay.
add you in there.
Looks good.
Yeah, that looks when you add in the black hair, it really makes it
Yeah.
closer to the Yeah. It's so different than just like the white. Let's see, Suman.
Mine is
Suman.
his
Wow.
So cute.
his face is like a pygmy something. I don't know. But
I
anyway.
definitely think that I could have added in the lines for the cross section to place the eyes. I think that's always one thing that's challenging.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. Anyone else want to share? Let's see. Emily. Good job.
Yeah.
Yay.
Wow.
Good job.
Oh, you did too?
Was there two people there?
One
Someone's
is my
hiding.
daughter's. This is my daughter.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
My daughter
okay.
did that one, and then I did this one.
Wow.
She ran away. She's embarrassed. Let's see. Joy. I see Joy holding it up. I'll try to get everybody. Nice.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh,
You definitely have the basic shapes in there. Looks good. Let's see who else. Does anyone else want to hold it up? I'm
Well, I'll
this is
show
a-
mine
Oh, here we
quickly.
go.
I had some trouble, but
Is that you, Michelle? There we go. We'll go
Yes.
Michelle and then I'll go to Nicole. Oh, nice. Really fine lines.
Yes.
Love it. This definitely takes time.
yes.
Let's see Nicole. Nicole, the cat lover.
That's nice.
Ooh.
Aw.
the shading makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. The shading with the black hairs definitely makes a big difference. Love it. Let's see, Lizeth.
This is my daughter's.
Wow. I see there's a trial and error there. It's a couple of heads. Nice.
This one's mine.
Job.
Okay.
Well
Nice.
done.
I actually did one on the iPad.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool, the iPad.
Oh,
Digital art. Did anyone else want to share? Okay. This last prompt, we don't have as much time as I planned, but this will be fun because we're all going to end up with something.
Can I show mine? Can I show mine?
Is that you,
please?
Barbara?
No, Lauren.
Lauren, sorry. Let me try to get everyone. Oops, gallery view, Lauren. I am, oh, there you are, Lauren. Oh, wow, Lauren.
whoa.
You're amazing.
That's really
Wow.
lovely.
Lauren, you must have
got-
been drawing for a long time. That's
No, I just started again recently. But I
That's
got a lot out of
amazing.
what you said tonight. Thank you.
Wow.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Barbara, I see you there. Barbara and
It
then
seems
Bonnie.
like a lot of you must have drawn a lot before.
Wow.
Oh, cute.
He's amazing. There, I guess even with this dog, like it's a realistic picture, but even with this, we see different interpretations of how
Mm.
we're viewing things.
Yes.
Let's see, Bonnie.
It's pretty light. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see
yes.
him there.
Nice. Looks great.
Hi, excuse me. I'm
Ashley. I see Ashley. Nice. So cute. It's like different versions of the puppy. You
Yeah.
would be proud.
Yep.
Amazing. Okay, I think I got everyone. Okay. Now take a look around your room because actually, I'll share these two quotes here. It is only by drawing often, drawing everything, drawing incessantly, that one fine day you discover, to your surprise, that you have rendered something in its true character. I think this is a great quote for us to remember when it comes to working towards that the most perfect sketch that you want to. It's just a lot of practice. You can't do sketches enough. Sketch everything and keep your curiosity fresh. I wanted to share this. This was when I kind of searched up different prompts. This was something that I found a lot of, where you just practice with a whole bunch of different objects. You see a mushroom, there's a bunch of like fruit, eyes, pencils, just objects around, just to give you an example of what your practice can look like. It can just be mini sketches of many different objects on a page. But like I said, for our practice, I'm going to change it to one because I didn't realize the time. Again, my optimism. But pick one item in your room to sketch. You can pick up something you have on your desk. And remember to apply shade and pressure control and recognizing shapes. And this will be the fun thing that we can all share in a bit. I'm going to give us 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll play us a little bit of music. This is where we can kind of just chit chat and talk a bit while I play us some nice music. Get into our flow is what we call it. Okay, I will take this off. And what am I gonna sketch? I think a lot of you did better than me with the puppy, so it's amazing. I found
Your
that with
puppy's cute.
oh, thank you. I will name him.
Oh, good.
I will name him Cat. I'm kidding.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
I
my
have-
aunt had a dog named Kitty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have a coworker who has a dog, and she named him Bear. And when she told my boys that his name was Bear, she's like, "But Miss Anderson, he's a dog. You know that, right?"
Oh.
So they're just like, "Why did you name him Bear?"
Oh,
What am I
cute.
gonna sketch? I will sketch these glasses.
Hey, baby.
Let me share us a bit of. We'll all end up with something different. So no pressure at all. No pun intended. No pressure.
Oh, ha 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 ha. That was good.
I'm glad someone can laugh at my lame jokes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Barbara, did you get to share yours?
Yes, I did.
Earlier? Okay,
Yes.
good. I just saw the note in the chat there.
I jumped out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Come a long way. It's awesome. So I have my glasses there.
So how often do you teach on here?
I've been trying to do, it started out with once a month, but I'm trying to do at least bi-weekly. But this month I actually have something every week. Next week is the Picasso class with the paint. And right now we're in the midst of a 5-week self-portrait series. So we're on our 4th week tomorrow.
Third.
That's going to be really cool. Is it 3rd? Oh yes, third week. Composition. Again, recognizing shapes and the pressure control you're keeping in mind. Let's play some I'm a huge throwback person. There we go. Hope everyone's staying hydrated. I have not been. Again, it doesn't have to be the whole page. I find when you draw bigger versions, it does take a bit more time. Even do a couple objects if you want.
Are you drawing glasses?
Yes, I'm drawing glasses. About 3 minutes, and then we'll go around and share to end off the class today.
Wow, I like your glass.
Thank you. It's a little bit squarer than.
Those are good.
They're symmetrical. So it's almost like it has to be two identical.
That's always hard.
Yeah. It's like that eyeliner, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can never draw two eyes matching no matter how many times I do it.
Yeah. I'm actually going to challenge myself. I'm going to actually write down, draw 10 objects. So this will be kind of my homework. Then you can do the same too. Get your practice in.
So do you have another sketching class scheduled?
I do. I'm going to be doing a sketch class once a month for now. So the next one will be in May.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually going to share. Actually, while you guys finish off, I can just share some of the classes coming up. How about that? And then we can kind of go around, just for anyone. But I will send out an email with my upcoming classes. Let me just pull it up here for anyone that is interested. The next class, like I said, the one coming up is the Picasso class, which is next Saturday, 6:30. It's free, pay what you can. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun. It will be 2 hours, so it will be a bit deeper. But next month, we are going to jump into another series, 4-week around the world. I'm really excited for this one. And what kind of inspired it was all the past classes I've been running with the historical painters, but my missing of traveling as well. So there's a Canadian painting in there. We have one from France with Monet, and Tahitian with Paul Gauguin, and a South African painting. So this will be a lot of fun. It is a me plus free. So when you do buy the ticket, which is a special right now, until the I believe the 20th, where you can, it's $38 and you can bring a friend to kind of split the cost for all 4 weeks. This will be a lot of fun. And then our next free event is Artists Unblock. Is actually another sketch event, but it's more of a quick prompt type of class where we get to kind of talk and go into a bit of like soul searching. So a bit of unique prompts there. And then our next similar sketching class to this will be the end of May. So we're going to focus a bit more on lines, which will build on to recognizing shapes. So I will send this out in an email.
Cool.
But we can go around and kind of share. I wonder we had a lot of wine glasses the last class that people were sketching. I wonder what everyone was sketching today. Show my face. Let's see.
Should go to
I
gallery
think-
view and just
Oh, if we go to gallery view, we could see everyone.
Oh
everybody.
yeah, let's do that. Oh, Lisa, that's a great pencil. I'm gonna spotlight for
Holy
anyways because when
moly.
you do, it's a really impressive pencil. That
Oh.
looks so real, Lisa.
It does.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
gosh, the shading is amazing. I'm gonna go in order so I don't miss anybody. There's
Okay.
Suman in order of my gallery. But what
Oh.
is that there, Suman?
Okay, this is a candle holder.
Oh wow.
Wow. I don't know what it really looks like, but that looks really
That's
realistic.
great.
That's great. And we have we'll go to Barbara and then we'll go to Vicho. So that's the order. So you don't have to. Oh, Barbara, is that a
Oh
yarn
my
ball?
gosh.
It is.
Can you
Oh
raise
my
it? Yeah.
gosh, that's amazing.
Whoa.
The texture looks really awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you have the object, you can
That's
even hold it up beside your sketch. Let's see, Nicole.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the plant.
Oh.
Love it. That's a really
Oh.
good one for shading practice there. There's a lot of, it's a good one. It's a lot of work.
Very
Demi,
It
we'll
was
go to
definitely
Demi.
challenging.
Yeah. Demi, what did you sketch there?
Missing bottle cap and I was trying to do a weight, which by the way, these two things, I am very proud because I can't draw anything. So I think this was remarkable for me.
That was awesome. The weight looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The shadowing there, he definitely applied. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, because I did what you said. Look at the shape in it
Mhm,
and try to
mhm.
draw them. So that's how I did it. Normally it would just have been a stick figure. So thank you
Yeah.
very much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
It's definitely different when you start to recognize and like see things differently. It sounds so like so obvious, but when you start doing it, okay, we'll go to Joy. Let's see what you did there, Joy. Is that is it like a sculpture? Some sort of a sculpture you have, or like a?
It's a marrow.
That looks
Oh,
beautiful.
nice. Oh, I like it. It's like a flower with a moon. It looks
Yeah.
like.
Really cool. Love it. What did we
Pretty.
do? Michelle, what did you sketch?
I sketched this pencil sharpener.
Nice.
Very nice.
Love the shadowing there.
Mm.
It's like even when I put my glasses on, I'm like, oh, there's a shadow on the table. It's almost like you don't notice those shadows are there until you look for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Let's see, Ashley. Ashley, you just finished off your, oh, so cute.
Oh.
I basically I did it over because I really wanted to like finish it up because I really love dogs.
Love it. Ashley, where are you
Aw.
from? I hear a British
India.
accent. Are you
I'm
from the
from
UK?
Jamaica. I'm from
Oh,
Jamaica.
I love it. Are you painting? I'm sketching from Jamaica today too. It's my first
Yes.
Jamaican student. That's amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
I clearly have a very bad recognition for accents. Sorry. Amazing, Ashley. Let's see who didn't get to share yet.
Thank you.
Lizeth, let's see. What did you sketch on your the window?
I drew a pencil box.
Pencil box. Nice. Lots of different items. Love it. What's that there? Is that a cup? Very cool.
Oh, there we
Looks
go.
good. And I see Vicho. We have a Lilo or Stitch. This is Stitch.
A Stitch, yeah. I feel like I can do it.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's
I
great.
have this figure.
Oh,
Oh, wow. That's great. What program are you using to draw?
It's Clip Studio Paint.
Clip Studio
you.
Paint.
One more time? What's the first word?
Studio
Clip
Paint.
Clip Studio Paint.
Clip
Everyone's
Studio
so talented.
Paint. Wow, that's
Love
amazing.
it. Lauren, what did you sketch there?
I have a clay chalice. And
Nice.
So I did it
Oh,
from
beautiful.
Oh,
under.
look at the shading. Really good.
Thank
Love it.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah, everyone is so talented. I agree, Leslie. Did anyone else? Not Emily. Did you want to share, Emily?
Oh,
Is that a?
I sketched my daughter doing her sketch.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that's
Goodness.
amazing.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Nice.
And then my glass. Well, I started with my glasses around the table first.
That's
That's good.
wow.
awesome.
Thank you.
Can we see it?
And then she didn't.
Did you?
Me.
Oh.
Nice.
That's so cute. Did anyone else not get to share? I think that's everyone who would like to share. Amazing. Lizeth, did you do that too? Wow, you're an artist. That's amazing.
This one.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. You're talented.
No, I thought he took her out.
You're amazing, Lizeth. Keep going.
Wow.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you.
joining tonight. I hope that you learned a bit about recognizing shapes and pressure control and just having fun.
Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you, Miss
this.
Mikey.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Enjoy, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
See you at our next class.
Yes,
care,
it was
everybody.
great
Bye,
to sketch
everyone.
with humans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.